Good morning, good morning, good morning. I hope you're all having a fantastic day. I wanted to bring out a video today focused on Farming Tales, really a beginner's guide. I did one of these several months ago, almost 3 or 4 months ago now. I guess 3 months ago, since my channel's only been around for 3 months. 3 months ago, I did do one. A lot has changed within the game in preparation for new Waxchester, and there's a lot of new people jumping on board that are looking for something up to date. It's with the excitement around new Waxchester coming up here next month. So I wanted to get this guide together. There's a lot of information in this guide that I wanted to go through. Um, so let's go ahead and jump in. I may go a little fast at times, but I'm going to try and be as detailed as possible. Uh, One of the things that I wanted to, before we get started, throw out there is got a few parameters that for this video. Just wanted to get them clear up front in case you're checking out this video for one of those items. Um, a couple things that keep in mind as we go through this: it is all pre-new Waxchester. This is all stuff that is currently in game at the time of this recording. So I will not, other than right at the end, I won't be jumping ahead and looking at new Waxchester. This is for new people jumping in right now and what they're seeing within their farm. A couple other things that I wanted to throw out there is I will not talk about ROIs. If you're coming in this video looking for information around ROIs, sorry, not going to do it. The crypto market is so volatile. By the time you watch this, it'll probably be different ROIs than when I'm posting this video. So keep that in mind that I won't talk about that. I will put a link down below at the current ROI calculator that is dynamic, so it updates on a regular basis. And last but not least, any suggestions or any information that I give during this video or any of my videos, please keep in mind that it is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only, for a little bit of educational purposes. This is my personal opinion. So do your research if you're not already in the game before you jump into the game and before you purchase anything, any NFTs. So keep that in mind that this is not financial advice. All right, now that the painful part's out of the way, let's go ahead and jump in there. If you're very new to the game and not sure what Farming Tales is, it is an NFT-based game on the Wax blockchain, focusing obviously on farming currently. Phase one is all about your personal farm, which I'll show you here in a few minutes. And then phase two brings in the metasphere, a town called New Waxchester, where it's more of a community-based, more product-based type of game. And then down the road may have additional cities. And the other cool thing about Farming Tales is it is the first game to really start blending real world products with an actual NFT game. So there's going to be a big focus after they get new Waxchester out there to on the real world side of it, the real life products. So something to look forward to. Um, so I'm hoping that you're excited with this. The other caveat that I need to throw out there is if you're new to Farming Tales, this is not a click per earn. This is not a quick pump and dump type of game. Like, not throwing anyone under the bus, like uh, farm or Farm World, like Spacecraft, like some of those other games that are shot up real quick, and it's you click a few buttons and you look to make some profit that potentially, if they don't make any updates, will be gone in a month or two. Not throwing those under the bus. There's people that like those kind of games. I just want to make sure you're aware that Farming Tales is not one of those games. Farming Tales and all the talks that I have with the developers and the team, they are targeting a long-term game, something that's going to be here for years, that's going to have a metasphere, that's going to have continuous updates throughout the lifetime, strategy that goes along with it. I know right now the current game is focused around doing just harvesting, taking your SEST, either staking it or selling it. That's not the future of the game. It's going to be more of a product based. So all that out of the way, let's dive into the game, especially for those newcomers. Um, as far as the game goes, there are a number of different animals that are currently in game, what we'll call the phase one animals. They have cow, pig, sheep, goat, chicken, and goose. And these, and just if you're not aware, these are the Valentine's Day events. It was the best picture that I could get all of them together. So In game, these are the legendary Valentine's Day. There's a whole bunch of different versions of them, ranging from common all the way up to legendaries. And if you look in game, there's several versions of the legendaries. There's this one is the long term, the ongoing legendary that the blending was just introduced into the game. And these are the Valentine's Day ones, and they're going to have, I'm assuming, more in the future, more variants of that, just to keep it fun. Epic also has two different variants. It has the normal ones, which is this, and then it had the winter ones that were introduced for a very short time, several months ago. All the other ones, the commons and the rares, is just one variant in game right now for each of the different animals. I just highlighted the cows here. This is what the cows look like. So there are several different types of buildings that go along with the animals. There is the stables. So in the stables, you can combine those with cows, pigs, goats, and sheep. All go in the stables. So if you buy a couple cows, make sure that you get the stables to go along with them. There are several rarities of the stables. There is the common, there's the rare, and there's the epic. The common holds one four-legged animal. The rare holds two four-legged animals, and the epic holds three four-legged animals. So keep that in mind. Other two buildings that hold animals is slightly different. You have the shelter, also known as the goose shelter. It only holds geese. It also comes in the three different rarities, but a common holds two geese, a rare holds four geese, and an epic holds six geese. So basically, all the building, and the hen is in the same, the coop, also known as the hen coop, um, also is the same thing. The commons 2, rares 4, and epic is 6. The way to keep it track in your mind is all commons hold 4 legs, all rares hold 8 legs, and all epics hold 12 legs. So if your animal has 2 legs, like a goose and a hen, it's going to be 2 per common. If it's got 4 legs, like pigs, goats, sheep, and cows, they can only hold 1 in the common. So keep that in mind as you're going through this, and you match them together that way. So I know previously the meta was grab 2 geese, 1 common shelter, because they were the cheapest combination. That has shifted a little bit. Um, so just those are the kind of combinations that you want to look at. The fourth type of building is the gardens. Initially, the gardens were only doing tomatoes. Now they have the seeding system in there, and we'll talk a little bit more about that here in the few minutes. But in order to use the gardens, you need seeds. The seeds either come from a greenhouse or they come from the secondary market. Uh, and in the future, all of these animals, instead of producing SEST, they'll produce products. I'll lightly touch on that. That'll be more in a new Waxchester update when that comes out. In addition to these basic buildings, we also have support buildings. We have the barn, the silo, and the water tower. These come in common form, which is free with the game. When you start in the game, you automatically have a common of each of these to allow you to go forward, so you don't need to buy one initially. You can craft and buy rares and epics, and the reason that you would do those, well, before I jump into that, let me just tell you, the barn is going to be for where when we get to new Waxchester, it's going to hold your products. A higher rarity, the more products that you can hold, and it'll eventually be for the weekly challenges. Um, uh, Basically, the higher level barn you have in the future will also be, you can do a level 1 for common, weekly challenges, 2 for rare, and 3, which is going to have the most rewards if you have an epic barn. The silo is your food that feeds your animals, also feeds your lumberjack and your peer. Uh, as unfortunately, I don't like the picture. But as like I said, you have a common. As you go up in rarity, you can feed more animals. So if initially this doesn't really matter, if you only have a few animals and a few buildings, you can get away with a common silo. But if you start getting a certain number, I don't know what that number is, but let's just say uh, for this video, if you get 10 animals, it may be it may be good to start looking at a higher level silo. What the silos do is they either feed your animals directly, or they're used as part of the harvest all feature. Water is mostly for gardens and greenhouses right now. May have some future use, but it's similar silo. It feeds your gardens and it feeds your your greenhouses. And if you go to their website, which is farmingtales.io, and you go to the white paper, it has a breakdown of all the costs. I'm not going to go through that on this video just because of the interest of time. Um, but as you get in the higher rarity, they're more efficient and the more SEST and CBIT that you keep. All right, and then last but not least, as far as buildings go, there is the legendary buildings. These are the ones that are basically one-time events. Right now, the value of the legendary buildings isn't as good as it's going to be with when new Waxchester comes out. Right now, all these items give you SEST or CBIT. The wildflower gives CBIT. In the future, these are going to give basically rare products that are used quite a bit for the weekly challenges. So if you don't have one of these legendary buildings you buy and you want to compete in the weekly challenges, you're going to have to go over to the secondary market, buy them, and use them. Let quickly go through these. The first one that came out was the lumberjack. This one is probably the least rare, just because 1,000 of those sold. It does. It right now produces SEST. It will produce lumber. The next one was the hive, and be careful if you're looking to get a hive on the secondary market. There are two hives. One is used for physical products, which I'm not going to cover in this video. um, I don't know enough about the physical side of creating these for the honey and the saffron and the hemp. I don't know enough about that for this video, so I'm going to hold off on that. But if you want the one that has in-game benefits, make sure it looks like this. It is more expensive than the other hive. So there's been a lot of people on Discord that have been grabbing the other hive thinking it's this one because it's cheap, and they've essentially been losing out money on that. So this is the hive. The next is the fishing pier, which will produce fish, and New Waxchester currently produces SEST. Then it was the wildflowers. This is a little bit different than the other three that I just highlighted. This one actually every 12 hours, it produces one CBIT. In New Waxchester, that'll change to wildflowers. But for now, it's the only item that you can buy in game that produces CBIT. You can only stake one wildflower, one fishing pier, and one lumberjack in game. Hives, you can stake as many as you want. And then the last one that just came out here a couple weeks ago, and this is the first of the actual product system, is the greenhouse. There's only 500 of these sold. There has been rumor that if needed, they will release 500 more. Again, one per garden, but this is unique because this produces a case that in that case currently is 3 seed packs that are used for the garden. So if you plan to use gardens, you may want to look at getting a greenhouse to go along with that. This also will in the future have the ability to have additional slots to produce more seeds, which will be produced with SEST. All right, and the last slide I have here before we jump into game and actually do something is the economy within Farming Tales. Right now, there's 3 tokens. The first one that came out was SEST. CBIT followed shortly after that, and the this one just came out recently. The SEST is used. The SEST and CBIT are tradable both in game and on the Alcor market. This one is not. You cannot trade it. As far as what they're used for, SEST comes from animals, plants currently. It'll eventually be from products. So if you have the more animals you have on your land, the more SEST you'll produce. It is used for staking in order to generate CBIT. It is also used for in-game crafting, and it's used for the nifty market when things like the greenhouse come out, which was 40,000 SEST. So this is used as a mainstream currency within game to keep the economy going and most of the burning features. CBIT was added a few months ago. This is earned only through staking and the wildflower legendary building that I showed earlier. As far as the uses, this is used to feed and water everything. It fills your silos and your water towers, and is used for the harvest all feature that I'll show you here in a second. The Liara, I apologize, I am pronouncing that wrong, is also earned from staking Zest. There's only been one drop of this. In the future, they're hoping to have weekly drops of this. It is used for elections and polls when we have community decisions that this is going to be used for. It hasn't been used yet, so there's been one drop, but it will be used here in the near future, especially for New Waxchester. Basically, every 10,000 SEST you have available in staking, you'll get one of these coins. And from the CBIT staking perspective, that's a fluctuating pool. So the more people that stake ZEST, the smaller percentage that you'll get of the CBITs on a 12-hour basis. This is paid out every 12 hours, usually 0 UTC and 12 UTC. My time is 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. All right, and now that we've gone through all that, let me actually show you how this all works. This is the game. Once you're in here, I do have more, I'll go ahead and throw that out there. I do have more detailed videos for each of these if you go through. What I wanted to show you is this is the farm. I'm not going to go through each of the individual items. This is the area over here is where you stake all your buildings and your animals and your farms. It's a big space. I know unless you're a whale, uh, it's going to be hard to use all this space. I've put a lot of time into this game and I haven't even come close to using it. If you want to stake and unstake buildings, you come to this little circle here, which you go into it, you press E. Pops up here, shows you the full area where you can do that. A lot of these I have staked, and I'm going to actually show you me staking a building here. You go over to buildings. I'm going to stake a stable. You put it to an area where it's green. See, I can't post it on here because it's red. So you put an area where it's green. It's going to ask you to approve, and now it's staked. And now, if you want to put an animal inside of it, you click on the building, and then you click on the empty slot, and you go over to animals. These are the animals that I currently have available to put in there. Go ahead and put this guy in there, and now he's in there. And now what you're going to see is once I click out and click back in, it's staked there. I can't harvest right now. It's probably going to, it's going to give me an error. I may have to refresh in order for the timer to show up. Let me show you the timer on something else. Sorry. But before I do that, let me show you to take it out or unstake. You take the animal out by clicking take out. It's going to ask you to authenticate, and it's going to show it's empty. And if you want to move your building around, just demount, and now it's gone. And now it's back in my inventory right here. All right, to actually harvest, what you do is you click on and you see the different animals. And let me show you that. This is a common stable. You see how it's only one animal. This is a rare stable. It allows you to have 2 4-legged animals. And then we go over here and we have a common shelter, allows 2 geese, 2 2-legged animals. And then we have a rare shelter, which allows you to have 4 4-legged. All right, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you, I'm going to harvest. This is a legendary and this is an epic animal. So we'll go ahead and harvest the epic by just clicking this button right here. And you'll see the timer resets, and I did get the additional SEST. You have 2 choices. You can go through and individually harvest each of them. See that went up, and I got this. Or you can do a harvest all feature, which I'll show you here in a second. The last item I wanted to show you was the gardens. In order to get your gardens to produce, you click on the garden, you click on seeds. Let me just go ahead and click on a seed to add, approve, and now it's in there. And now I just have to wait for it to be harvested. Again, I may have to refresh for the timer to show, but I think this is a 3-day harvest for this one. All right, now let's go ahead and let's say you don't want to click on each of the individual buildings, or and you just want to harvest all. Let me go over to this. This is the section where you harvest all. You click E. It's going to give you a warning. Just so you're aware, it is more expensive to use the harvest all feature than it is to do it individually. You're paying for the convenience. Um, so I'm going to go ahead and harvest all. You'll see this jumps up here. So harvest all, and it's just saying it's probably because I pulled some in and out. So all you have to do is go ahead and click on that to harvest all. And I think because I clicked in and out, let me see if I refresh. So give me 1 second. This video's, go ahead and harvest, give it a second to come back up. Let me run back over here. Click E, harvest all, authenticating, and you'll see, yep, it jumped up. See, I just had, because I unstaked and restaked, I had to refresh. Sometimes you have to do that. And then if you have silos that are rare or epic and water towers that are rare and epic, you go over to this section here, and this is where you can refill them based on the bar up here. I'll go ahead and waste some CBIT to show you. Go ahead and refill. And you see that filled up here. Or you can demount, stake, and unstake. Right now I only have rares in here. I will be upgrading to epics. The last thing I wanted to show you in game, I'm not going to go to each individual one. I want to show you the wallet quick since this video is getting kind of long. Click on Q so you don't use the mouse. Go over to the main. There are two different wallets. This is the in-game wallet right here. This is where you use to craft or anything that's in-game. This is where the staking comes in place. This right here is your Wax wallet. It is out of the game. And if you want to buy anything off of Nifty, you're using this wallet. When you remove coins from here, SEST, from your in-game wallet to your Wax wallet, there is a 5% charge. But if I want to deposit, there is no additional fee. Same thing with CBIT. When I want to remove it from the in-game wallet, there's a 2% charge. Depositing, there is no fee. And last but not least is the staking. This is where if I want to go ahead and add, this is what produces both the Liara and also the CBIT. You can see I have 200,000 SEST staked. This is a percentage of the pool. This does decrease over time because of more people adding to the pool. And this is my daily CBIT rewards that I get. So if I want to go ahead and add an additional, I'm just for additional 50, go ahead and add that, and you see it increases here. It does barely anything to my pool. I'd have to add 1,000 or so just to see that number change really. The thing with unstaking, takes 7 days. Every 24 hours, you get 1/7 of your unstaking, and as soon as you click unstake here, that is gone. That is gone from your in-game wallet, and I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. That is gone from the staking. So you no longer earn CBIT the second on that entire amount the second you hit unstake. All right, so if I decided to pull out 100,000 SEST, as soon as I hit let's do 70,000 for simplistic sakes. If I pulled out 70,000 stake, that 70,000 would no longer count as the staking for the CBIT I earn every day, and I would get 1/7 of that, which is 10,000 every 24 hours until the 70,000 is paid out. So keep that in mind if you're doing any staking, and I highly recommend staking so you're self-sufficient. I hope that all made sense. We are running a little bit long in this video. I apologize. There's a lot of information that we had to go through. So I wanted to do one more, basically cover a few more things. This is mostly for new users. The nice thing about the game is there's so many different ways to strategize and really make a successful experience in the game. The game is profitable if done right. The game is also not profitable if you don't do it right. A couple things that I would just suggest. You can start with any different types of budget. Whether you're a whale, you go and fill this entire area with buildings and animals. Or if you're a new person that's relatively new to Wax, you can go ahead out there and just buy one of these common shelters. as an example, and 2 geese, and then put some money into staking SEST for your CBIT daily returns and make sure you're self-sufficient and grow from there. So there is multiple ways that you can do it. I'm not going to say a specific thing because some things could change with new Waxchester coming out. But I did make a full other guide um, to prepare yourself for new Waxchester. I'll go ahead and I'll highlight that here. So go ahead and click on that if you're interested. New Axchester is about a month away. Later this month, there's going to be the product system, which means all these animals that you see will then produce CEST instead of, I'm sorry, will produce products instead of CEST. So that is a big change that's coming. And like I said, the whole new Axchester environment, I did another video around giving, I joined up with the dev team, and they did a walkthrough of the new Waxchester for me that I was able to show you all. And then last but not least, we'll see in different sections of your farm, they've already started putting them, and there's more and more to come. The Farming Tales team is partnering up with other projects, real world products, um, and they're going to be connecting in different ways, whether it's NFTs in game that could give you access to certain areas, or there's NFTs that could be used not only in Farming Tales but the other games. I know OnLinked was one. Um, then Harmonia was just announced as another potential one. So there's a lot to come with the game. Uh, Please keep in mind it's a long-term game. It's not a quick return game. So keep that in mind whenever you are investing. So I hope you all have a great day. I hope you all enjoy this. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll talk to you all later. Thank you very much for your time.